Good morning. I'm Chief Winslow with the Springfield Police Department. Accompanied today here by Mayor Langfelder, Gateway Foundation Executive Director Carrie Henry, and Ms. Karen Harold, along with Lieutenant Brian Oakes. Today we are here to publicly announce an exclusive partnership with the Gateway Foundation for the implementation of a Safe Passage initiative. The initiative was developed for Springfield residents who are suffering from addiction to illegal drugs, prescription drugs, and/or alcohol, and providing those individuals access to recovery immediately. The benefit of a Safe Passage program is that assistance will not take days, weeks, but rather immediately. Any resident who enters the police station or approaches an on-duty Springfield police officer asking for help for addiction will be screened through the Safe Passage initiative. Those who are entered into the program and are in possession of a personal amount of drugs or drug paraphernalia will not be criminally charged. This is not a get soft on crime initiative. This is not for people who are under arrest for another charge. It's the fact that addiction affects people of all, it's a realization that addiction affects people of all backgrounds and all socioeconomics. We also realize that people who are suffering from addiction, we have about 48 hours to get them into treatment before they change their mind. Personally, I've seen the effects of addiction with my sister, who is a recovering alcoholic. I've also seen the effect that addiction has on our community. We began piloting this program back in early September, and to this day we've had 2 participants already, one who just recently completed a 28-day recovery cycle. Conditions that will make somebody ineligible for the program are the following: outstanding arrest warrants, 3 or more drug-related convictions, a person who is deemed to be a danger to himself or others, someone under the age of 18 without the consent of a parent or a guardian, having a medical condition that may require hospitalization, a registered sex offender, and or any previous Safe Passage participant who left prior to the treatment being completed. Law enforcement is about helping people, and we believe that a healthy community will lead to a better quality of life and crime reduction for all. The Springfield Police Department and the Gateway Foundation hope those struggling with addiction will turn to those offering assistance without the fear of being arrested. If you know someone who is struggling from addiction, we encourage you to have them contact the Springfield Police Department or the Gateway Foundation. At this time, I'll open it up to Mayor Langfelder for a few questions. Or comments, I should say.
Thank you for being here. This is an important step in the great job our police department does with community outreach. And it's all about partnerships, it's all about personal relationships, because quite frankly, the individuals that reach out to individuals within our public of most need is our police force. They're the ones that are first in contact with a lot of individuals that are having tough times. And so I can't thank them enough. That's why they're my favorite department. They put themselves on the line for others' lives, and they really give that outreach support that individuals need at their most dire needs of their times in their lives. And there's a great illustration of that. And it's been a struggle with the opioid epidemic. I think a lot of families, it's one of those unhidden illnesses that we don't talk about. Alcoholism we don't probably talk about. You know, it's that's something that needs to be brought up to the forefront. But most importantly, we have to give people the avenue for access to treatment. And we can't thank Gateway Foundation enough for opening up those doors of access so the police can act in a proactive manner. They're, again, the first line of support for individuals at times like this. And instead of getting the disciplinary action, they get the supportive reaction so they can be changing their lives for the better, not only improving themselves, not only improving their family situation, but as importantly, improving our community as a whole. And so I'd just like to thank the police department under the leadership of Chief Winslow, Brian Oakes, who has spearheaded this program, as well as Gateway Foundation for making this all possible and changing the lives of others.
My name is Carrie Henry. I'm the Executive Director here at Gateway Foundation. I want to thank the Springfield Police Department, Mayor, for this opportunity to work with the City of Springfield. I think it's really important that this partnership happen. We're right here in this community, and we have the ability to serve our community and help the people of Springfield. We're very excited. We've done some other Safe Passage programs and have had great success in other communities, and I'm very excited to do it in our community right here. So we're looking forward to the collaboration and partnership with Springfield PD and the City of Springfield.
And you've already taken advantage of.
As I stated earlier, we've had 2 individuals go through the program, one who's currently going through the program and one who just recently completed the 28-day program. And so we know the program works. We've been researching this program for the last 3 years. We actually have been looking at implementation previously, but we wanted to make sure we could deliver on our promise to the community that if somebody asked for help, we would be able to get them into a bed and into a service that could provide the help that was needed. And Gateway has stepped forward with that, and with their multitude of resources, they have guaranteed us that no person will be turned away. When we talk about here is we talk about helping people, and really in law enforcement, that's what we're designed to do. When everything else boils down to crime prevention, crime enforcement, that's just one portion of our job. Community service and customer service is the other portion of that job, and getting people the help they need. Helping people who suffer from addiction, who may be doing a variety of means to feed that addiction. If we can get them the help they need, then hopefully they will stop doing some of those things, and that will also lead to basically a reduction in crime. So if somebody's out going through unlocked car doors, stealing change or stealing money to feed their addiction, or burglarizing houses or whatever, if we can get them the help they need, help them turn their lives around, then they won't be out doing those kind of things. So that's how it has a direct relation on law enforcement and crime reduction. This program is not designed to be a get-out-of-jail-free card, as I refer to it. So if somebody is under arrest for another charge, they will go through the judicial system just as they normally would. Safe passage would not be an option for them. This isn't where I arrest somebody for, say, domestic battery and they're in possession of some marijuana, and all of a sudden they say, hey, I'm addicted to marijuana, I need help. That's not what this program is designed to do. You'll still face the judge, you'll still go through the process. Once you're clear and free of all those charges, if you want to come into the police department and ask for help, then we'll be able to help you. There's also the drug court program. You know, we see this as being a complement to that program, not replacing it, not being an instead of, but a partnership to that, or a complementary program. We actually did our research. We've been researching this, like I said, for 3 or 4 years. Spoke to Danny Langos, who used to be the chief in Dixon, who really brought this program from Massachusetts to Illinois a few years ago and was pretty much the first one in the state to get the program going. When we looked at it, we wanted to be able to guarantee that we could give a bed. That we could get somebody help, you know. And with the recent changes at Gateway, with the expansion of their services, we're able to do that now. So we look forward to that program. We do anticipate that there will be a spike in people asking for help and assistance after this press conference today. That's why we began rolling out the pilot program a few weeks ago to try to test it, work out the bugs, make sure we were all good to go before we announce it to the public. With that said, Gateway also wanted to make sure they were prepared, because we do expect an influx after this announcement. I don't believe anybody is ever hopeless or helpless. We don't throw out our community members because they have a disease or an addiction problem. With that said, I'd like to turn it over to Karen. Maybe she can answer that question a little bit better than I.
Yes. So a couple years ago, we didn't see a... Oh, yeah, let me go up here. Yes. All right. Yes, a few years ago, we did see an increase in opiate addiction. Since then, in the different services that are now available to those that are using, we have seen a decrease in that. We've seen a lot of success with the implementation of transitional living, Vivitrol, Suboxone, and some different pretty much resources that Gateway offers. So with that, as a collective, we have seen a decrease in opiate use, and we're continuing and hoping with this collaboration in our community, we can continue to see that decrease. So we have a residential program for men and women. We also have our outpatient program where we offer partial hospitalization. So that means that they be here like day treatment, where they're here from 9 to 4 p.m. or from 1 to 9 in the evening time. And then after that, they step down to our intensive outpatient, where they continue to maybe work in the community, maybe go to school, and then they attend in groups afterwards. And then after that intensive outpatient program, they kind of go on to our basic outpatient. So it's the continuum of care. So once they leave residential, they actually go to our day treatment, then they go do our intensive outpatient, and then basic outpatient. And that kind of keeps them engaged. That keeps them monitored by counselors and kind of keep them engaged with us, and hopefully we can be a part of their success when they transition back to their families and their jobs. So what we did add 22 more adult beds, so that did increase the opportunity for us to get adults that are have addictions in our community into services. So that is a pretty big deal. So we're not as limited as we were before, and we wanted to prepare again for this partnership so we can have those additional opportunities for individuals to get into treatment. I would say we don't really know what it's going to lead to, but we have been doing a lot of planning, and we are prepared, and we kind of plan to have some beds open. We have 24-hour availability for them to call when they go into the police station. So I will say that we are pretty prepared for us to take on any calls and any individuals looking for services. Their services are going by their whether insurance or it's not coming out of their pocket. So we're assisting them to get insurance established if they do not have that. There's also state funding that's available. So no, that individual is not paying for services once they come into treatment, if they qualify.
Well, what I would say is that unfortunately we did have one of those cases that I can think off the top of my head out at Southwind Park several years ago. And to go with that, obviously a charging decision is always made by the state's attorney. It's not the Springfield Police Department. When appropriate, I'm sure the state's attorney's office will take the appropriate actions, and if their charge is something they want to do, they will do. What we've seen is that, several years ago we started issuing Narcan, and then there are some social services in town that started issuing Narcan. We realized that the addiction problem that we were dealing with the heroin epidemic that came about, but also not just heroin. We're seeing it now with Mexican ice. We're seeing it with other drugs over time. We saw it with cocaine back years ago. Every day there's somebody out there who needs help. And basically what it is, it's not a shift in law enforcement thinking. We're still going to prosecute those who are out there committing crimes, those who are committing drug-related crimes, those who are selling drugs. This program is designed to help those who realize that, hey, I got a problem, I want to make a change in my life, I want the help, and it's a way to let them come in and not be in fear of being arrested for possession of a personal amount of drugs and get the help they need. And so I don't want to say it's a shift in philosophy and thinking about how we treat individuals who are suffering from addiction, because we've always been there to help people. And law enforcement at its core root is about problem solving and helping people. To be honest with you, I wish there was. Narcan has been a great tool for us. We've saved many lives over the last several years, including the fire department have saved lives as well. With that said, it's about making that true recovery effort. And when I talk about leading a better quality of life for everyone, someone who suffers from addiction oftentimes aren't just affecting themselves, they're affecting their loved ones, other community members. And so if we can improve their quality of life, get them the help they need, it's going to lead to a better quality of life for everybody. And like I said, we know there's a relationship, a correspondence between crime and drug addiction. If somebody is out there committing a crime, they will face the criminal justice system that they normally do. So if we catch somebody in the process of committing a crime and they're in possession of illegal drugs, they will be prosecuted just as they always were. About the implementation, yes, this is the flip of the switch. We're ready. Like I said, we've been piloting this program since early September. We're ready to go today. If somebody walks into the station 10 minutes after we leave this press conference, they will be screened and get the assistance that they need. Well, with that said, it would behoove me, and it would be wrong of me not to introduce Lieutenant Brian Oakes and Karen, who have really been the boots on the ground, the thoughts behind the process of getting this program up and going. So at this time, Brian, would you like to say a few words?
Sure. Thank you. Hello, as the Chief said, I'm Lieutenant Brian Oakes. This program, SPD is a customer service-oriented organization. The safety and well-being of the citizens of this city is and always has been our #1 priority. And unfortunately, addiction issues are something that some of our residents, they struggle with and their families struggle with every day. And we owe it to them, this city owes it to them, the police department owes it to them to change the way we do business a little bit, to offer them something else. And with this, again, thank you to the Gateway Foundation, with this exclusive partnership, together we are able to do that. And if it saves one person's life or saves one marriage or one family, it's entirely worth it. Like the chief said, somebody has already completed a 28-day stay here, and a typical stay is 28 to 35 days. So this person appeared to be doing really well if they finished up in 28 days. But it's something that we're going to stay true to and put full effort into. And I'd just like to thank Mayor Langfelder and Chief Winslow for all their support with this program. I'm limited on what I can say, but what I can tell you is one of our neighborhood police officers, Officer Steve Termine is his name actually, he did a really outstanding job in the pilot program stages of this. He had a dealing with somebody on a call. He recognized that this person, hey, I think this person fits this criteria for this initiative, and he made every effort to make it happen, got in touch with Gateway, and the person was screened, fit the criteria, and 28 days later that person has completed the training program.
Well, with that said, again, we would love to thank Gateway Foundation for this partnership, and we look forward to, people in our community taking advantage of this program. Anybody who needs information about the program, obviously, we have some brochures that can be picked up at our front desk. The information will also be on our social media pages, Facebook and Twitter, as well as our website. If no one has any other question, that'll conclude our press conference here. Thank you for coming.
Thank you very much.